Okay, let's go back to Gandhi. So you see, when Richard Attenborough came to work for the film, so he and I were staying in the Calcutta Grand Hotel. So then he says, "Hey, darling, you must have heard about Gandhi because that it was in the papers." So I said, "Yes, I have." He says, "One day I will make that film." You read 3 lines about a man, and you're not even thought of being a director ever. You're a fantastic actor. So you only became a director to make Gandhi. 18 years, this man never gave up. Let's go back to Gandhi. So you see, when Richard Attenborough came to work for the film, so he and I were staying in the Calcutta Grand Hotel together. So of course we would go to the studio together, come back from the studio together, and etc. And we became very, very friendly. So he was quite impressed with me, that he could relate to me because I lived in America for 11 years, so I knew a lot of the Western, ways of working and terminology. So then at that time so when he finished the last day shooting, he was to go back the next day. So he said, we were coming back from the studio, and he said, "Will you come for a drink with me this evening?" And he doesn't drink at all, I said, "You don't drink anything at all, So he said, "No, I'll take a glass of wine from I'll ask the bar to send one a glass of wine, So then I said, of course, So I went to we took a bath and all that. Then I went to his suite, and he says, so then he says, "Darling, you must have heard about Gandhi." Well, darling is a kind of a way that the English theatre people used to address each other, darling. It was just the way. Like Yarna, so it was darling was that. All these great actors of the time. So, "Hey, darling, you must have heard about Gandhi because, that it was in the papers." So I said, "Yes, I have." He says, "One day I will make that film. And when I do, I hope you will do it with me." I said, "Of course, I would love to do it with you, And inside I'm thinking, yeah, it's taken him 18 years. And it's called Dickie's Folly by all the major studios of Hollywood. So kahan banne wali hai? Who's going to make this film, It's not going to happen, It's taken 18 years. And all the major studios have kind of called it as foolishness. And all his pals in the industry, Sir Laurence Olivier, Sir John Gielgud, they're all telling him, "Dickie, forget this madness, You're not going to make this film. Nobody's going to finance it." So anyway, so that's the prequel, let us say, of the story.
आवाज जरा जोर से आनी चाहिए। देश की नेता, देश की नेता। यहाँ पे आज मेरे सामने एक
Then Mrs. Gandhi came back into power, you see. So he had first met Mrs. Gandhi when Panditji was still alive, because he had come to India with an introduction to Jawaharlal Nehru from Lord Mountbatten. because Lord Mountbatten and he were trustees of the same, this Society of Muscular Dystrophy. So he was pally with Louis Mountbatten. So Louis Mountbatten introduced him to Panditji. So then from there, that's when he met Indira Gandhi the first time. So and he came to get this funding from the Indian government. So of course our funding was very, we were in a very bad condition. The British just left us absolutely impoverished. We were this, along with China, we were the two greatest economic powers in the world before these bloody whiteys came, and we became the poorest in the world. तो पैसा नहीं था. So, and industry was also, of course, the industry was still not, because our film industry started at the same time as Hollywood. You know that, nah? Because when the Lumiere brothers went around the world to demonstrate their camera, so one of the places was Bombay in their same trip, because it was the British Empire, it was a big city. So when Mrs. Gandhi came back into power, so he said that so he got the news that the Indian government could probably finance the film now, So ऐसे था कि there was this Goldcrest Films and one more company, American company. So they were doing one third. So they said, if you get 1/3 from Indian government, we'll put 1/3. So then Mrs. Gandhi agreed to give the money, 1/3, to NFDC.
से बेकारी हटाना चाहते हैं तो वो कपड़े जो हों मैनचेस्टर और लीड्स के उतार कर रखते हैं. ये नमक हमारे अपने समंदर का है. हर हिंदुस्तानी का इस पर अधिकार है. तुम अपनी आजादी मारपीट और खून खराबे से चाहो तो मैं उसके साथ नहीं. महात्मा गांधी जिंदाबाद. महात्मा गांधी जिंदाबाद.
So when he got this, when these things were finalized, then he got in touch with me and he just said that this is it, that the film has come through and I want you to be my associate producer. I said, I would love to, there's nothing like better. So that's the story.
Namaskar. Brother, Bapu is already late for prayers.
Oh, God.
Motilal Kothari was the guy who used to work at the Indian Embassy. वो गांधीयन था. तो वो क्या उसको बोला भाई ठीक है, ये कहते उसको ये फतूर था कि मैंने गांधी को फिल्म बनानी है. तो ये जाके इसको किसी ने लॉरेंस ओलिविये को मिला दिया. सर लॉरेंस ओलिविये. तो उसके पास ये पहुंच गया. तो Indian accent, like I said, Indians were treated like dogs, we were half dogs. So, the kale sale, Anyway, so Lawrence Olivier badmash nikla. He said, Mr. Kothari, I would love to make this film, but my friend Richard makes these kind of films. Richard met this young Winston Churchill. He makes these kind of films. So you approach him. This is Richard telling the story. He says, and Larry, the bloody bastard, so he just, told him that he could talk to Dickie, अभी कोठारी ने फोन करना शुरू कर दिया उसके घर में. उसने घर का नंबर दे दिया उसको. And every time he would call, Richard would tell Sheila, tell him this. तो ये क्या है ना कि इनका वो फैशन it was fashionable to go to the Riviera in the summer, French Riviera, na? Cannes, this thing, that thing, where the Cannes Film Festival is. It's called the French Riviera. तो ये भी जा रहे थे, छुट्टी पर जा रहे थे. यूरोप क्या है ना, ये इनका अगस्त का महीना पूरा ऑफ लेते हैं ये. And they go to the seaside. Okay? That is the thing. तो सारा यूरोप seaside पर होता है. Italian Riviera, French Riviera, तो ये भी हर एक साल जाते थे. तो ये कहना, they rent a villa every year. So he says, darling, we're just kind of packing up to go to the Riviera, and his phone came again in the morning. And finally I said, listen, let me at least talk to him. He's been calling me for days, how long can I keep it away? And he was leaving London. So what could he do to me? I could tell him I'm going away. By that time he'll forget me. So he says that this man came with this Indian accent, which I could hardly make out anything, except that he wants to leave me a book to read. Nothing else. I could make out nothing else. He said, तो इसने मुझे वो लुई फिशर की biography छोड़ दी. And I had no intention of touching the bloody book, No question of it, Yeah, but when you're on the Riviera, then, Sheila would put it amongst my books to read in the bag that I used to take to the beach. My books to catch up on. So finally I opened this book. And this incident I told you, is on the 3rd or 4th page. See, because he comes from a very, very, this Fabian socialist family. George Bernard Shaw and all that. His father was an academic. उनकी funny कहानी है कि क्या है ना, they had this in the Second World War. They had this group who used to take this Jewish kids from Germany. They're taking them out from Germany, sending their adopted parents in America. So first they would come to England. So his parents would keep 2, 3, 4 kids before they were handed on to the people for America. तो फिर ये जब अमेरिका ने वॉर एंटर करा तो ये शिपिंग सब बंद हो गई. तो इनके घर में कहानी सुनो तो रोंगटे खड़े हो जाएंगे. इनके घर में 3 जूश किड रह गए हैं. His parents, I feel like crying. Don't. Brought them up as their own kids, as their brothers and sisters. कौन करेगा ये? So that's his background. So it's the background of genuine, humanism, humanity. वो 3 बच्चे रहे घर में. Shipping net बंद हो गई. The parents brought them up with his children. David Attenborough, Richard Attenborough, इनकी कितनी बहन है. So that's his background. तो हमारे यहाँ क्या करते हैं यार? हमारे घर सारे स्यापा सारा पड़ गया यार, किसी और को दे दो. क्यों? This is the kind of family that he comes from, you see? So then his father, I think he finally founded a university and became vice chancellor of the university. So इसने कहा जब मैंने वो लाइनें पढ़ी ना, that how can one human being do this to another human being? He said, बस मैंने फैसला कर लिया कि मैंने फिल्म बनानी. It became my life's mistake. From then on, I decided to become a director. From that moment, तो लोग कहते हैं ना ये तो ऐसी फिल्म कौन से फिल्म मेकर के अंदर है, बताओ मुझे. Which filmmaker in India has that feeling? Tell me. That you read 3 lines about a man, and you're not even thought of being a director ever. You're a fantastic actor. You're stage and cinema, and you got 1 Oscar. You've been nominated for 2 Oscars, and you're doing fine. Everything is good, and then of course you're Shakespearean. With all those great Shakespearean actors, John Gielgud, Laurence Olivier, all those, Katha, from that time I decided to become a director.
And when they'd gone by, he turned to his colleague and he said, I'm always amazed that men should feel themselves honoured by the humiliation of their fellow human beings. And I still can't say it without my hairs coming up on the back of my neck. It seemed to me that a young man in his early 20s who had the ability to make that statement and that judgment on human beings had to be a fairly remarkable fellow. That was the phrase which made me determined, 1962.
So he only became a director to make Gandhi. 18 years, this man never gave up. Even though he was ridiculed by his fellow actors, by ecosystem as well. Once the big boys said in Hollywood, तो तुम्हें कौन touch करता है यार? वो तो क्या independent film companies came up. एक अमेरिका में, एक इंग्लैंड में, and then वो फिल्म बन गई. नहीं तो कहाँ बनती वो फिल्म? Joseph E. Levine, आपने सुना? When you see the old film, Joseph E. Levine was one of the other great producers of Hollywood, and Carlo Ponti, Sophia Loren's husband. Joseph E. Levine was a very, very big producer. उसकी बड़ी-बड़ी फिल्में बनाई हुई हैं उसने 70s, 80s में. उसने कहा अच्छा I'll make this film for you. Carlo Ponti's Sophia Loren's husband was a very big producer, and then David Salzberg, of course. इसने कहा मैं फिल्म बनाऊंगा तुम्हारे लिए, तुम तैयारी करो. थोड़ी सी स्टार्टिंग मनी दे दी इसको भाई. वो साला Arab-Israel war हो गया.
Israelis realized the historic importance of the battle. Frontline troops are only able to make limited advances, constantly under heavy fire from the Jordanians, who remain immovable.
This is what we call karma. Our 4 traditions that we have given to the world: Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism. So our core doctrine is karma and reincarnation. अब ये कर्मा देखो, तो वो 6-day war हो गया, and India supported Arabs. उसने कहा why the fuck should I give money to these bloody bastards who support Arabs, who hate Israel? बंद कर दी. So karma, he went to that kind of. So he had that false start, and he had one more false start, I forget. But even then, this man never gave up, man. never gave up, you know. Because when he was telling me in Calcutta, frankly, when I've told him many times, no, darling, I don't blame you. When you were talking to me in Calcutta, I was just thinking in the back of my head, how the fuck is he going to make this? This guy's never make this film. So, हाँ करने में क्या चाहता है कर दो यार हाँ इनका बनने में तो है नहीं भाई एक बार स्टूडियो पर्सन ने कर दी ना आपको ना कर दी तो फिर आपको पैसा कौन देगा और ये तो you can't make it ये तो है नहीं कि you can make an indie film because indie film you can only do with you know you can only make low budget ones. You can't make such huge films, indie films, you know, independent films. तो ये कहानी है भाई साहब. Films division, we had to see their bloody film every time we went to see a movie. In a way, it was interesting, but they also had the news review. There was no TV, no. There was a newsreel, na. That's to come. Of course, your kids don't know about it because you see it on your phone now. So anyway, then they used to show these. So hamesha Gandhi. So in our head, it became that Gandhi is a documentary. You see. In fact, that was the reaction of GPCP. Because Mrs. Gandhi to see she doesn't get any flack, she tried to get the Indian top producers to put money into the film. You know, B.R. Chopra, Ramanand Sagar, GPCP, उनको सबको दिल्ली बुलाया meeting में, Vidyanbi Ministry. Though I was also there. So Suresh Mathur was the joint secretary films at that time. तो मुझे याद है कि शास्त्रियों में मीटिंग थी तो उसको बोला सुरेश माथुर ने कि तुम लोग पैसा डालो उस टाइम तो क्या था सोशलिज्म थी ना तो सरकार का बहुत रोब था because everything you need permission for except for going to the loo even then you need permission for you know telephone चाहिए permission gas चाहिए permission ये चाहिए permission you know तो सरकार को अब जैसे कोई कुछ कह नहीं सकता था वो कहते थे they would boycott you you know they would kind of send the water connection man and the electricity man and all that to you know to harass you तो इसलिए हम डर में रहते थे तो अब ये जितने बड़े प्रोड्यूसर थे लेकिन उनको ये तो डर था कि भाई सरकार के because all the raw stock came under license all the export went under license, you know, it was like total control, you know. तो खैर हम ये पेशाब करने गए GPCP में at the same time, you know, in the break, so we said go to the loo. And GPCP became a very, very good friend of mine later on, you know, when I was the vice president of the Indian Motion Pictures Producers Association. तो उस टाइम हमारी बड़ी दोस्ती होगी जिसे पी साहब की और मेरी तो that time तो of course I didn't know him Sholay was also not yet released but he was a big producer you know तो मुझे बोलते हैं तो हमने अपना we did our piss and we were zipping our pants and so we at the wash at the basin washing our hand तो मुझे कहते हैं से पैसा अरे यार सुरेश हमें यहाँ से निकालो यार who wants to see a documentary about Gandhi ji
I've traveled so far and all I've done is come back home.
Wait a minute. You know what you're going to do, don't you?
It would have been very uncivil of me to let you make such a long trip for nothing.
Where you going?
Come. Where are we going? I'm going back to the ashram. Then I'm going to prove to the new viceroy that the king's writ no longer runs in India.
Because it was so much into our every उठते बैठते documentary of Gandhi ji, है ना? तो इसलिए हमारे तो फिल्म बंदे and then nobody thought of that scale, ना? हमारे यहाँ कहाँ वो scale था? You see, you guys don't remember that. You guys have to remember we were very poor, you know. We were a very poor country, you know. When you traveled abroad, you know what the sanctioned amount travel foreign exchange was? $15. तो हम सारे ही चोर थे. Because we were all hawala racketeers. We all arranged money through hawala, you know. तो $15 में बंदा क्या करता था? वो तो हॉलीवुड में था, you know. 10 Commandments, ये वो Cecil B.D. Mills की तो बड़ी you know, Cleopatra बन रही थी उस टाइम पर. तो हमारे यहाँ कोई they didn't dare think of this. I think Sholay was the biggest scale film at that time. And what was it, Dharamveer, that Manmohan Desai's film, Karamveer or Dharamveer, that was the biggest film at that time ever made, you know.